Thank you everyone for being here. Our special guest and speaker was unable to be here physically tonight. However, her survival story and message to understand about domestic violence will still be heard. Introducing Saundra. Saundra, thank you for having the courage to share your story and talk about who you are and what your strong message is for everyone here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I would like to share my story so it can go out there and hopefully change others people's lives. My story starts probably over 30 years ago. I was married for 5 years to a man I thought I knew very well. But I can't say that there was only one instance of abuse. There were many instances where things escalated, and it was a physical assault. And on my birthday, he had hit me and knocked me out, left me on the side of the street. And I woke up and there was nobody there. And I did not know how severe the attack was until I got home the next day and my face started to swell. And my ex-husband, he started claiming like, "Oh, what happened to you?" And I said, "You know what happened?" And he said, "No, I would never do that." And I said, "Yeah, you did, and, and you would, and you did." So I'm just getting home and trying to get myself together because this is such a horrible attack. I had black eyes, my face was swollen, and after a day or so, I went to the hospital, and the first doctor had stated that I was going to die. So within 3 days, so they didn't do anything. That my family moved me from that hospital to another hospital where it was a hospital school. So um, they were able to just get to me as quickly as possible and start cutting off my face where the infection was. And however he hit me, it started an internal infection, which left me, well, which left nothing could be done except cutting of my skin. So they had they had me have probably like a 10-hour surgery to cut my back, they cut my legs, and they tried to reconstruct my face. That they had to cut a G-tube, a trach, and I was in the hospital approximately 5 to 6 months. And people always ask me, why didn't you go to jail? Well, why didn't you? Well, I was in a hospital fighting for my life. And what he told my family was that I got mugged. And so they had no idea what really happened. And I'm just sorry, I'm going to go back and let you know during our marriage, he had hit me several times, and he would always be really remorseful and, I loved you. And then the honeymoon stage again. And then we'd go back to whatever it was. I can't say he hit me every day, but that doesn't make it right. There was a time where he knocked me over the couch because he had been stalking me because of something that a friend of mine did. And I called, I don't recall if it was a domestic violence hotline or not. That they said, you're going to have to leave right now, with your kids and nothing else, and you can't see your family again, anybody else in your family again for a long time. And I wasn't strong enough to do it at that time. So I stayed. I thought it's going to get better, like a lot of victims do. We just keep thinking, oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. That 90% of the time, it does not. And it gets worse. And I think at the end of our marriage, this happened. And it was the most traumatic experience I can tell you I've ever been. I've ever been in, and it's continuing. I've had over 38 surgeries. I've been fortunate enough to find people that helped me, including Garcia and her nonprofit doing what she's doing, helping survivors, not just on the phone call, but literally having a plan to escape the abuser. And that alone is one of the hardest things that I've ever experienced. And I'm sure that other people have thought the same thing, that, this, I can't ever get out of it. I can't do this. That when you find out that there are people like Garcia that wants to do her story and wants to not just stop at her story, but go beyond and say, you know what, I've been helped, and so I'm going to pass it on. And so for 10 years, I wore a mask and sunglasses, and I was so ashamed of myself. And after many years of therapy and just staying as strong as I could, but having people come into my life that really blessed me, makes all the difference in the world. Unfortunately, I didn't have a strong family, circle around me, but the people that have come around and just volunteered and given their heart to me is immeasurable. And if you find someone that is willing to not stop at their own story, but continue and pass it on, that's what I want my story to be. I don't want people to see my scars and my situation as the end of the story. It's not the end of the story. The end of the story, I hope, is 4 or 5 other women were rescued, were helped to survive, and their children, because it's not just the person. Usually, some of the women have children, like I did. I had 3 children at the time, and it was difficult. It was so difficult. I would have to take them to school. Kids would make fun of me, and my kids were so incredibly strong. And I am so proud of all of my children. And I am just so proud that I can stand here and say that there are places, there are organizations that want to help you. Don't think that it's just going to be a sugar coated, oh, yeah, I'll help you. And then after the call, nothing else happens. This is an organization that goes beyond just the talk. It goes to uh, it goes to rebuilding someone not only in the outside but in the inside. And once their inside is strong enough to go and leave the abuser, that is one of the hardest things to do. But I think with this organization that it's doable. I can tell you, when I first called, it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. And I knew that there wasn't going to be anybody besides a phone call that was going to help me. So I am just so grateful that everybody is here and everybody is supporting. And I ask and encourage you to continue to support Garcia, her nonprofit, Confronting Domestic Violence, and just be the person that wants to be the hand up, to the next person, and not just say, oh, well, it's not my problem. Please, I just encourage and ask that you heard my story and it's the truth. And I have worked so hard to say, I'm not ashamed of myself. All of these scars are going to be what I stand for, which means that I didn't do anything to deserve this, that I want to pass it on and let anybody that is in this situation know that there's help and that you can get through this. This is one of the hardest things that I've ever been through. I know that I didn't ask for it. If someone would have said, hey, would you like to do this? Absolutely not. So I'm not strong about it. I am a survivor, and I am also a grateful victim that has survived and not just wants to stop with me and my healing. I want other women, even men, to know that there is a life after. I mean, a lot of people may not have all the scars as I do, but mine are very evident. And because of that, I'm not less of a person. I'm not timid. I'm not, going to hide anything, but I will proudly say I am a survivor, and I know that I can continue to live a happy whole life. And I've raised my children, and I can say I'm helping with my grandchildren, and my life is pretty complete. I am very blessed. But please just think of others besides just me or somebody else. Just continue the assistance to carry this message on and on and on. And if it helps one teenage girl or anybody else, isn't it worth it? I think it's worth it. And I will share all of my scars to anybody that wants to see it, anybody that wants to hear my story, so that I can try to give this as a payback of what I've gotten. This is what I want to give back. So I thank you. And if you have any questions, please let Garcia know. And I'd be more than glad to speak to anyone or any group if it'll help. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.